Hey guys, just want to put this video together. Not sure who needs to hear this, but the I've been thinking about recently with all that's been going on with my dad in the hospital and the recent passing of my grandma. With all that's been going on, I haven't really had a chance to kind of sit and create a video in my office, but I've been wanted to take this opportunity to. So you've seen a lot of recent videos from my car just as I'm driving to work. But yeah, I was just recently thinking about something as I'm kind of navigating all this situation. Um, one of the things that I just kind of felt in my spirit this morning is that when we are leaders in our home, we're dads, husbands, and we're navigating situations like, actually, let me back up a little bit. So when we're in the role of leadership and we are expected to have, I don't want to say a certain demeanor, but to have the answers, to make decisions, to make the tough calls, right, to lead with integrity. Like, there's a lot of things that need to happen when you think about our role as shepherds of our homes. We have to navigate those things, right? So that already brings its own complexities. It brings its own challenges. And forgive me if my video starts to get a little bit wonky, because I'm obviously driving. But so that those things already bring their own things, right? Their own challenges and their own layers that we have to kind of go through. But anyway, when you add on situations that come in our lives, difficulties, challenges, right? That's an added thing that sometimes we don't anticipate, we don't think about. But I'm going to say something with that is going to appear super simple, but I'm living it currently, which is why I want to just kind of bring this up. Is that oftentimes when we read the scriptures, when we read the Bible, right, and you hear stories from people, you read stories in the Bible, oftentimes you're like, it's just words, it's just a good story, right? It's a good thing to hear, right? It feels good to hear certain words. But when you are, like, for example, when you read in the scripture that God gives us peace that surpasses understanding, like, that's a nice thing to know, right? But it is totally different when you have to live that, like, have to tap into that truth. And I'll be honest with you, it definitely takes a lot, because when, like, I know for myself and my family, the we are, we're living this. The last few months have been just really difficult. But when you're in a place where you have to trust God, and when you have to really pray and to seek His face in the midst of those feelings, that's a different ball game. It's a different ball game because it's real at that point. And I always go back to my military stuff, right? It's one thing to see a military video. It's one thing to see people in war and fighting and shooting and all this stuff, right? And and us, it looks amazing. But it's a different feeling when you are feeling mud in your face, when your body is wet and cold, and there is no time clock as to when you're going to get dry. Like, that's a different feeling. Marathon runners, right? Like, it's cool. The idea of running a New York City marathon is a cool idea, but it's a different ball game when you're actually running the marathon, when you have to train for that. Hopefully I'm making sense here, guys. But so the my encouragement really is, I mean, just to hold tightly to God, because I have seen him, in the midst of tears, in the midst of just kind of like navigating the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs of emotions. As I've navigated those feelings, I've really had to trust God that His word is true, that He is faithful, and that the things He's saying said in Scripture, it says in Scripture, is true, and that He'll come through. Like that's a different ballgame, and it's been one of those situations where it's like we've really had to just trust God and rely on God, and I've seen Him just come through, guys. Like I've seen that scripture, pieces of past understanding, flood through in moments that I didn't have peace. Um, Again, I'm currently just in this. At the time of the making of this video, I'm living it. So not sure when you're watching this. So I want to just put that out there. Like when you're walking a walk of faith, it is not always clean. It's not always perfect, but it doesn't mean that when a difficult situation comes or when life gets hard, that we somehow just stop or like we abandon the situation, abandon ship, and we're like, this thing doesn't work. No, the only way that our faith really gets revealed is when situations come up, right? The only way that we get refined is when situations come up. We don't want that. Like I don't want this situation to be my reality, but it is. And watching my father pass, like I'm literally watching it, just with him this weekend, and seeing him, hearing him in pain, like literally, and knowing that this is, I see in scripture like God can heal, right? I see in scripture that he can do great miracles, and I have to trust that. And I'm praying for both. I'm praying like, God, like, listen, if it be your will that you would heal him, and if you're using this for something else, then let that be your will too. And that's a really hard place to be in, but I'm seeing him come through. I've seen him come through. I've seen him reveal himself in just mysterious ways. So I can't take one thing and not another. Like I got to take the whole package, So, and I got to trust that if God is allowing something, or when He doesn't allow something, I gotta trust that He's still faithful and He's still true. So I want to just give you this encouragement as I'm just really just living this out in real time, just as an encouragement to you guys, and definitely keep my family and myself in prayer. But I just want to pray that this is an encouragement to you, that whatever you may be going through, don't just give up faith just because things are hard. Like you don't stop working out just because you don't see the immediate result, right? Like, and if you do, you never get the result. Like that's just the truth of it. And that's how things work. Like it's with everything. You don't stop. Like inventors, they don't stop inventing things. We wouldn't have this modern technology if somebody wasn't going through failed attempts at, like they didn't just invent Wi-Fi all of a sudden. Like that came through a process, right? Like somebody went through the pain points of that to get us that technology. So there's things that come out of pain points. So I want to just put that out there, guys. Like we can't just scurry, we can't shrink back in our faith just because things are hard. Like that's just a reality. That's the truth of it. So I have seen God just really show up in this time, and I'm praying that this is an encouragement to whoever is listening, whoever needed this. All right, guys, listen. Hopefully, I can get back to recording from my office soon, but just kind of bear with me. Keep you guys updated, and stay encouraged, stay blessed. All right, guys, I'll see you.